Um, the next one is called Cat's Paw Nebula, Scorpius. For this one we came up because of cats either tamed or wild. We actually used footage which shows cats presumably after they've had a good feast. So they're not in the hunting mode, but they're in the more sleepy mode, and that was something which was suggested directly by the music. We think this is a very good match of sound and image, and therefore we came up with the two-word description of this one: soporific contentment.
Yes.
Soporific as in sleepy, and contentment as in well fed. So we developed the cat's paw nebula and the cat association very literally here, very directly. So actually, could you just talk a bit about what the cat's paw nebula looks like through the telescope, because it is an amazing image, isn't it?
It is, yes. In fact, it really does look like a cat's paw, doesn't it? It's like a cat put his paw into the sky,
and it's not just the shapes that stars or lights that we see in the sky make. It actually, the colours that come across in the image.
Yeah, so like
literally look like
my cat.
They could be a cat's paw.
Gingery, sort of reddish yellow.
Right. Yes.
And yes, it's a nebula. It's like gas. I think it's a place where stars are being born. So it's a coloured thing. It's not like a cluster of stars like Praesepe or Pleiades. It's actually sort of lots of gas, which is coloured often by the photographers. If you went into space and you got near to it, it probably wouldn't be those
so
wonderful
it's partly
colours
artist's impression.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, there's only a few things to say really here, because any composer, however unconventional they are, like maybe myself, would never follow something like the Virgo and the Bertie's Empty Quarter with something of similar intensity. So this is like, you called it an interlude.
Almost an interlude after the Virgo
of the
experience.
soporific contentment.
Right.
Nobody who knows me for more than 5 minutes knows I'm not mad about cats anyway.
And so am I, and of course so many.
So it was a very, very simple.
So many of viewers today, or people everywhere, are cat lovers.
So it's like an intermezzo interlude between.
Yes. And it's shorter. It is
shorter.
Actually maybe around 3 minutes. This
3
one.
minutes, yeah.
And
in this performance.
but in its own way, equally intense.
Intense, but not.
We start off because of the music. It suggested to me not a domestic cat, but either a lion or a tiger. And we have a fully mature lion, not roaring, but having a big yawn at the beginning of this sequence.
And it coincides with a really bassy, contrabassoon tuba sound.
That timbre, that combination, which creates that timbre, matches that absolutely perfectly. And one of the things we did, of course, I was using the iMovie video editing application for this project. And we tried to explore as many of the features as we could in it. And one of the main aspects of doing something successfully is pinpoint timing. And so the effect that we just described was effectively one which was carried through every single video, every single piece of music which we wanted to match with a particular visual parallel, if you like, demands pinpoint timing for it to get that full effect. So if you just imagine, the sight of a lion yawning has a certain arc to it, in a very general sense, up and down, in terms of the way that its gesture moves. And again, that's something which the music was suggesting, hence the image. But you've got to time that so that it literally follows that contour.
Yeah.
The contour of the music and the visual contour. And again, that's the essence, I think, in the entire cycle, what I just described, that applies to every single marrying.
There's humour in this one too, though, of course, because you have this huge lion at the beginning yawning and this big sound, and at the end you've got these two maybe domestic but small cats yawning one after the other. It's like yawning is infectious even in humans, but it seems to be the same in cats.
Yeah.
And this comes at the end, like, so you go from the lion to the two domestic cats yawning. So it's all about some sleepiness and relaxed almost. And I think you mentioned that the viola part is the simplest of all the pieces. And
it is.
Even lies within
it's as effective as all the other pieces. And as I say, I regard all of these pieces as equals in terms of music. So in terms of the actual level of expression and the intensity, there isn't any difference there. But from a technical point of view, I mean, it was shorter, which is not the overriding reason, but it's mainly like, I think it all lied in first position on the viola. I was using pretty much standard arco, bowed, detache, slurred, legato articulation for almost all of it, with a few pizzicato. And so compared with the other movements, which did involve the regular use of a lot more extended techniques.
And microtones. I think this one is more semitonal.
I think that's correct as well. And I think maybe this one is, if not entirely, almost entirely semitonal. Whereas a lot of the other movements is, as Marcus has just said, quarter-tonal, microtonal, but using quarter tones, which is something we haven't actually mentioned yet.
No, but
but in the first 4 movements, for example, there are a few examples of these quarter tones, which is part of the style of the compositional process here. But not in this one. But instead of that, what this does have is a lot of slides, which in musical terminology we describe as portamentos or glissandi. Which again, in terms of
sort of laziness,
marrying with the theme, the cat's
cat stretching,
the cat stretching, and in this case they're not on the hunting part of their cycle. No. They're in the bit in between.
Well, there is a kitten that sort of looks a bit lost in his. So
not to forget the kitten, which happens maybe not exactly in the middle of this, but certainly in between the lion and the 2 domesticised cats at the end. There's a kitten which finds itself on its own hopping around a field of long grass. Presumably it is looking for something, something of interest, which is usually something which might...
And not all of them include the constellation, but there are a couple of moments where Scorpion appears, isn't there?
We do have 2, I think it's 2 images of the Scorpion.
Very desultory, not very...
not moving images, but yes, that's right. One of them which is very effective is at the beginning, where it's actually superimposed upon the image of me performing the viola in my recorded, let's say, video. I recorded this actually at my place of work in a teaching room, and it's impossible to really describe the look of that right now, but I try to make it resemble somewhat the cockpit of a spaceship, because there are windows behind me when I'm making this recording with daylight coming through, and just various other features which make a very symmetrical looking stage set, if you like. And so we use that to great effect with me centred, in this case with the image of a scorpion appearing, as it were, behind me, and we use that technique a few times in other pieces.
Before we talk about the next one, it has to be said that all of these videos were built around your recording of the whole piece.
Yes, the basic foundation visually.
So you're in it in every video.
Yes, a constant throughout this is the solo viola. But we used what's known as Ken Burns effect a lot. So, i.e., you can zoom in and zoom out to, in this case, myself performing, and it's amazing how many variations you can get with that. Just one person in one room from one camera angle. Playing around with the features on even something like iMovie, which is sophisticated but not a fully professional application, is very impressive. And we had a lot of fun, but also satisfaction using these features. So that was number